Hello and welcome to the first episode of my Old School Essentials solo RPG campaign. Today we're going to take a short while to talk about the game and the rules and a bit of the backstory, and then we're going to jump right into the first session and take our explorer out on their first journey. And before we continue, I want to give a huge thank you to Daniel Norton of the Bandit YouTube channel. He inspired me greatly to do my solo RPG campaign, which I wanted to do anyway on this channel in the format that we will be doing it. The first thing I want to talk about is the backstory. Just a couple of sentences. There's a kingdom of Daya, which is around 400 years old, and they have decided to expand. So they have started a global exploration effort, and they sent an exploration party to explore a continent called Komint. It's an island continent with 2 large islands and a few smaller ones. And they sent the exploration party there like around 14 months ago, 2 explorers and 3 assistants. And they arrived there and they found a village called Rydale, around 60 miles from the coast where they landed. And like around 6 to 8 months, they stopped sending birds to like report their progress. And now the kingdom has decided to send an like adventuring party to the island continent to see what happened to the explorers and find out what's going on there and what is there, because they don't know. Which brings us to the next point, the structure of the campaigns. So we will have 2 parts to the campaign. One is a mapper, or like an explorer, who will take journeys into the wild and find treasure maps and maps to like monster lairs. They will sell these maps to interested parties, mostly probably like adventuring parties. And the other part of the campaign will be these adventuring parties, which will then go on and explore these dungeons, explore these lairs, and find the treasure. And through the narrative that develops out of the exploration of the explorer and what the like adventuring parties find in the dungeon, we will spin a narrative, like a story, like you would do in a classic sandbox campaign, which you would play with actual players and not alone. We will start with these 2 explorers. I talked about it in the backstory part just a moment ago, and 1 adventuring party. That's the party that's coming to look for them, what happened to them. And over time, we will introduce more explorers and more parties, probably through the story and the narrative that will be developing based on what the explorer finds in the wild. And that would be all I wanted to say as an intro to the campaign. Everything else that is important, game rules, setup, we'll see in a moment when I turn the camera around to the table I prepared, and I'd say see you in a second. Alrighty, I turned the camera, and what you can see is the game table that we will be using. This map I made myself. In the second to last video on the channel, we made the continent map for the continent called Komint. And as you can see on the screen right now, the continent has 2 islands, the northern island called Formir and the southern island called Ariadris. The ship that I was talking about in the backstory part just a couple of moments ago landed on the southern coast of Formir, and they found a village called Rydale 60 miles up the coast. So when they arrived at the village, they found out that it was established by a group of shipwreck survivors 5 years ago. And they were met with hesitancy, not necessarily unfriendly, but not necessarily very welcoming as well. But they let them stay. After a couple of weeks, the ship went back and left behind the 2 explorers and their 3 assistants. And one of these explorers, after 4 weeks, like after the arrival on the island, he decided to do his first journey into the wilds and see what is out there. And he is called Charles Darlow. He's like 25 years old, very eager to explore the uncharted continent in service of his kingdom. Before we start playing, and I'm going to explain the rules why we are playing, I'm going to say something about the game, where the rules are coming from. It is called Outdoor Survival. This is a sheet of a remake of the game because the original is really hard to get, only on eBay, and it's rather expensive, especially here in Europe. So there's a remake by a person called Christian Holm Christensen. He made entirely new icons and graphics and restructured the rules, changed a couple of them, and made them more like accessible for the player. And I'm going to go through them as we play. But first, I want to say something to these houses here on the map. They are safe houses because the mapper can only stay out in the wild on first level for a week. He has a sanity die, like a life die, and that die is going to be decreased every day. as he is out in the wild, and on these safe houses he can restore this die to full. And then he can continue, but if the die runs out, so if you go from 1 to 0 pretty much, then he dies. He goes insane and he just dies out in the wilderness. Okay, if we have an encounter, because every day we are going to roll for encounters, we're going to use the rules from Old School Essentials. I asked the friendly people of Necrotic Gnome if I can use the advanced version, and they said yes, so thank you. I'd say let's just start. We're going to start him in Rydale, and he's going to go out to find treasure maps, or to find treasure locations, and then he's going to make maps to them and sell them to interested parties, which would be our adventuring parties. So I have these treasures here, or well, like treasure maps, and one of them has a plus on the end, on the other side, and the moment the plus is a special one. How do we distribute them? As you can see, the map is separated into quadrants, 9 of them. Top left is 1, bottom right is 9. I'm just going to roll a d10, and we are going to roll as many d10s as we need for the treasures, and then we are going to distribute them in the quadrants. The first one goes into 6. That is here. I'm going to look away, and then I'm going to just shuffle that a bit, move it around, and just leave it there. And I'm going to do this for all the other treasures, and when I'm done, I will be back, and we will start Charles's first journey. Alrighty, I'm back, and I distributed all the treasures on the map. There are a couple of hexes that have several. One of them, I think, has none. That one. And now we start. So a couple of rules before we start. Every hex that has a tree on it counts as a forest hex. Hex when it comes to the movement costs they incur, because every type of hex incurs another cost. So you can see that forest woods takes 2 movement, desert takes 2, swamp takes 4, and the clearing, so everything where there's nothing on, only those small grass bits, is a clearing, and that would be a 1 for movement. Okay, and then normally in the game, the mapper comes in from a side on the map, and they can leave on that side as well. We're not going to do that. Instead, I'm going to say that the area around Rydale, like the hexes around in a circle, they count as a safe space, and as soon as we get into one of these and stop there, we are safe and can reset our life die. Or end the game. We cannot just end the game anywhere on the map. We have to go back to Rydale. I'd say let's start. There's a life chart, which gives us all the levels. Every day we need to make sure we get water or we will lose 1. Food the same. Food you can't really recover in this version that I'm using, or the version that I made, because there are no food sources here on the map, but you have quite a lot of food, and if you come into one of these safe houses, all the levels go up. So the water levels go up again, food level goes up again, and the life level will go down as soon as we go down 1 row in these 2 for food and water, and it can also go up again, like if we go up 1 row in food and water. And it also says how much we can move, like A is 6, B and C is 5, D is 4. So, and that means 6 hexes, 5 hexes, 4 hexes, and each hex is like 3 miles on this map. I'm going to put this chart up here, and I'm going to put the markers on there. We have a, well, moon-shaped icon for the food. Not sure why that is moon-shaped. We have a water tab for water, and we have this walking guy as the life level marker. And you will see how I handle them, or how they are handled during play. This is the life die, it starts at 6, and this is a movement die I have introduced because I sometimes forget that I only can move 5. So every time we decrease movement, I'm going to decrease that one as well, and we are going to start with 6. Okay, let me think if I forgot anything before we start. Yes. We're going to use the search scenario of the game. And the search scenario says that on these die rows, 1 to 6, we have different movement abilities. So if we move a 1 or 2, we can choose the direction in which we want to move. We cannot turn, and we have to move our full distance. 3, 4, and 5 is we can choose a direction at first, then turn once during our movement, and we have to move our full distance. And the 6 is we can choose a direction, then turn as many times as we want, and we can also move as far as we want. So if we have 6 movement, we can choose to just move 3 or something. Okay, and that should be all the rules that are necessary for the beginning, and all the other rules I'm going to explain while we are at it. Here's a little daily process chart I made so I don't forget anything. And I'd say let's just start. So I moved everything we don't need out of the way. We have the life die, we have the movement die, and we have a die to roll for whatever is needed to roll for the mapper and his exploration. So first day, it is I think the 16th of December now. We roll his movement abilities. We roll a 6. 6 means, as I said before, I'm just going to show the rules every now and then again so you see them and get used to them. 6, for the search scenario, we can choose a direction, turn as many times as we want, and move as far as we want. Okay. But I forgot something. We have to see which treasure he goes for. So I'm just going to roll a d10 again to see which quadrant. That is 8. That is down here. There's only one treasure, so, well, he heard of that one, that there is something, maybe a cave, maybe a dungeon, maybe an ancient ruin of something. So he decides to go through there, and he sees the looming forest just a couple of miles to the south. Okay, we roll a 6. Let's see if we get lost. For that, we are using rules of Old School Essentials. I show them too. You can see here in clear grasslands, there's a 1 in 6 chance that we lose direction. So I'm just going to roll that die. And 1 in 6, so a 1, we lost direction. We didn't. Okay. So now I'm going to move according to the abilities. 6 hexes. We can turn how many times we want, and we can move as far as we want, but we are going to move as far as we can. So I'd say 1, 2. No, that's 1. Now forest already. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we can't move further because the next move would cost 2 more. That would bring us to 7. And we only can move 6 hexes. So we are in the forest. Now we have to check for a wandering monster if we encounter something. In the forest, the chance is 2 in 6. So 1 and 2 is an encounter. An encounter. Alrighty. Fun at the beginning. For this, we are going to take another table. We love tables as DMs. And we see here in the forest, like wilderness encounters by terrain. In the forest, we roll a d8. I'm going to roll a d8 in the background to see what we get. We get a 1. And that is just an animal. So now we need to check the table. That is table F. I say just an animal. Could be a brown bear or something. Table F for forest. We roll a d20 for animals. Animals are here, so we roll a d20. We get a 17. 17. And the 17 is spiders. Aranea. Is that? Oh no, it's a tree ant. Okay. 17 is a tree ant. I'm going to look up in the monster description how many of them we encounter. So Aranea spiders are 6 feet long, intelligent, magical spiders of greenish-black coloration. They have an odd lump on the back housing the large brain. 2 front legs have digits, allowing them to grasp tools. They dwell in web-filled lairs where they conduct magical research. Okay, so there must be a cave nearby. Oops. I'm going to roll if we surprise them, because that is the next step. Roll for surprise. That's just the Old School Essentials encounter rules. So we roll 2 dice. So the red one is for the monster, and the black one is for our mapper. I'm going to take these 2 out. And then I roll. No one's surprised. That's a 2 in 6 chance. So 1 and 2 is surprised. None of us are. So the spiders, we encounter them in 1d6 numbers when they are in the wilderness. So I'm just going to roll a 1d6. It's 2 of them. Okay. Now we have to see if they are faster than us. And they actually are. They move 180 feet, we move 120. Okay. That means they will pursue us if we cannot evade. The evasion rules are quite simple in OSE. I'm going to show you the rules. There they are. These are the modifiers. And 25% if they are faster. Oh no, only if it's twice as fast. And that's not true, so that it doesn't count. So we only gain 25% from the forest. Our base chance is down here. We are 1, and we are running away from 2, so we have a 70% chance to evade. And we add 25% from the forest, so we have a 95% chance to evade. Going to roll a percentile die and see if we can evade. It's a 46, 46, so we evade. Nothing happens, they don't see us, we hide in the woodwork, and they just climb by on with their weird brain on their back. Always when we find something, we want to check if it's in their lair. So we can write that down as a note that at this hex where Charles is now is a lair of these spiders. Okay, for that I'm going to use AD&D First Edition Monster Manual, and we're going to see how much or what's the chance for these spiders being in their lair, and then we're going to roll if they're in their lair. Okay, so I'm going to take the values for the huge spider because 6 feet sounds like huge to me. And they have a 50% chance to be in their lair. Roll a d100. We rolled a 16, so yes, they are in their lair. Okay, I'm now going to count which hex that is, and I'm just going to say it's 3 lower and 1 to the left than Rydale. Alrighty, let me check the daily chart. We had an encounter, we evaded, so there's no pursuit. I'm going to check if we discovered water. So our water level doesn't go down. It's a 2 in 6 chance. So on a 1 and 2, we discovered water. We did. So water level stays as it is. Food level goes down. Movement stays the same. And the life die goes to 5. And that movement die stays at 6. So that means we have 5 more days left in the wilderness without... If we don't find a safe house or get back to Rydale, then he will succumb to insanity and die. Okay. Next day. Going to roll movement abilities. That's a 5. Means we can turn once. Have to move our full distance that we can move. Are we lost? We are lost. Okay. That means lost is just we roll a random direction. That's a 5, and that is towards here. That takes 2 movement away from us because it's a forest hex. That means we have 4 movement left, and now we just move our turn that we wanted to. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's it. Did we encounter something on the way? In the forest, there is a 2 in 6 chance. I can show you that as well. The wandering monster in the forest is a 2 in 6 chance. I rolled that one. 1 and 2 is a wandering monster. And we encounter something else. Okay. Forest table again. Going to hold it like this. You might be able, I hope you will be able to read it. Forest table is here. Roll a d8 what it is. Let's hope it's not a 2, because that would be a dragon, I think. D8. And it is a 5. Okay, 5 is humanoid. Okay, that is subtable F. Going to roll a d20. It's a 6. You can't really see that, but this is a 6. And the 6 on that table is a Etin. So we encounter a group of Etins. They are Two-headed giants, 13 feet tall, of low intelligence and brutal temperament, dressing in filthy animal skins, lair underground, and operate only in darkness. Okay. They are moving as fast as us, 120. So there is no evasion modifier for that. Let's roll for surprise. These are the monsters, red. This is us, no one is surprised. Alrighty, so, and then we have, how many do we have of them? 1d4 in the wilderness. That's a 4. Okay, so we are in the forest. That means we gain 25% to the evasion chance. And that gives us an evasion chance of we are 1. We are pursued by 4 or more. That's a 90% chance, plus the 25% is 115, so we automatically evade them. They are very loud, and we hear them from a couple hundred yards away, so everything is fine. Going to check if they are in their lair. All right, there's a 20% chance that they are in their lair. We're going to roll a d100. Throw these away. Get that die out of there. It's our movement die. And then I roll these two. 20% chance. I rolled a 81, so they are not in their lair. Okay. Did we recover water? We did not. Decrease that die to 4. And continue. Next day. Movement again. A 4, that means we can turn once. We didn't discover water, so I have to decrease those. That one goes down as well. We still have 6 movement. Okay, are we lost? Where's the other black die? There it is. Are we lost? 2 and 6 chance. We are not. Okay, we move. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We get the first treasure. Let's see if it's the special one. It is not. Going to put that down. And what is the location was, alrighty, I wrote it down where it is. It's in quadrant 8, and X is 1 and Y is 2. Okay. Did we have an encounter? 2 and 6 chance. The encounter god is not on good terms with us. Forest again. Going to roll a d8. That's a 2, and that's a dragon. So I'm going to roll from the dragon table. And a d20 for the table. It's an 18. And that's a dragon. Dragon. Okay. First check, surprise. That is always the first thing you should do. Because if we surprise them, there's no evasion. This one is the monsters, and this one, and the black one is us. We surprise the monsters. There's a 2 and 6 chance that we are surprised. Let me just check that again. Yeah. So we surprise the monsters. There is no evasion. Let's see how many they are. Dragon is a small 5 feet tall at the shoulder dragons with brass-colored scales, small wings, and the head of a lion. Dreaded for their fearsome roar. Okay. We surprise them. That means we can automatically evade, and we will do that. I'm just going to see how many they are. It's 1d4. They are 4 again. Let's see what their chance of a lair is. Their chance is a 40%. So d100. 1 to 40 is a lair. We roll a 64. No lair. That's the next day. We turn that to 3. We check if we had if we discovered water. We did not. Okay, that goes down. That goes over here, and now now our movement changes to 5 because the life level changes. And we have the next day. I'm going to go over the river hex, and then we see what movement we roll. Okay, this is the 4th day, and we can move 5. That means we can move. We have to move full distance, and we can turn once. So, river hex has 3. Outdoor survival rules. We see that rivers have a movement cost of 3. So this means we can move 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Out of the forest, less chance to have encounters. Oh no, I forgot to check if we're lost. That was still in the forest, so that's going to be a 2 in 6 chance. Not lost, that means we can leave him like this. And okay, so next step is we moved already. Check for an encounter, and in grasslands it's 1 in 6. Alrighty, no encounter. That means no evasion, no pursuit, no resting. We decrease that die to 2. And I'm going to check if we recovered water. Oh no, we don't have to check because we went to that, like over the river hex, and if you do that, then you automatically recover water. The food goes down, that puts the life level 1 further down. We still have 5 movement though, and we turned that life level down already, so we have 2 days left. Let's roll movement again. That's a 3. That means we can turn once. We have 5 movement. That would be 1, 2, 3. No, that's 1, 2. There's a tree here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that means we get on that house. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And I forgot to check if we are lost again. Not lost. Alrighty. Do we have an encounter? 1 in 6 chance. Is there a forest under there? Oh yes. So that is a forest hex, so we have a 2 in 6 chance. No encounter. Very nice. That means now all the levels go up and the life die goes up to 6. That is very good. So we got 1 treasure. We have we spent 5 days now, and at the 5th day we found a safe house, and the explorer Charles Darlow could recover from the stress of the wilds, and will continue. I think that we go home, and I will end the session here. And because it's getting quite long already, and just going to go back to Rydale. Okay, everything is reset. We are going to roll. This goes back to 6 as well. Our movement die. And okay. These dice here, these hexes here, by the way, where we have just a bit of lake, those don't count as river, but they also don't replenish water. So let's see how we can move. 1. Are we lost? We are. Okay. So which direction? 3. 1, 2. That is direction 1. That is direction 2. That is direction 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's a fort here. Oh no, we can only move here. There's a fort here, which means if we cross that, this hex only has a movement cost of 1. But if we end on that hex, it has 3, and we can't, because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we can only move 6, so we have to stay here. That's in the forest again, meaning encounter chance is 1 in 2. Is 2 in 6. No encounter. Do we recover water? No. Water goes down, food goes down, that one stays, that one goes down. Next day. This is now the 6th day. We can move as far as we want, and we can turn as many times as we want. Are we lost? 2 in 6 chance. Okay, we are lost. Direction is, oh, we have to move 1 in here. So that is like 1, 2, 3. He for some reason thinks that Rydale is on the north here. So like to the north here. So he moves 1 hex in there. That takes away 3 movement. That is 2 movement, and now we do our like normal movement. So that is, we have used 3 through that turn. So back to the forest hex. 1, 2. That's 5. That's the forest hex again. 2 in 6 chance for an encounter. Okay. Forest is a D8 again. That's a 1. And that's a normal animal on table F for forest. So I'm going to roll a D20. Roll a 4. show you. This is a 4. And forest animals 4 is a tiger. Ooh, we met tigers. Let's see what happens. Tigers move faster than us. Let's just check for surprise to see if we even have to check for evasion. Red is the tigers, black is the mapper. We are surprised by the tigers. Okay, that means we cannot evade on the first pursuit, and they are faster than us, so they probably will pursue. I just looked that up, and first we move in a random direction. 3, that is in this direction. That takes 3 of our movement. No, only 1, because we want to cross, so then it takes only 1. And now they can decide if they are going to pursue us with a 50% chance, because those are the rules here as it is here. The fleeing side moves into a random direction, and then if the pursuing side's movement rate is greater than that of the fleeing side, there's a 50% chance of it catching up, meaning we have to evade. Okay, 50% chance, 1 to 3 is they are going to pursue, 4 to 6 is they are not. They will. We moved in that direction. 1 day of the pursuit has gone by. Now we are going to try and evade. Next day. Can we evade them? So we didn't, there's no surprise now. We are not in the forest anymore. They are not twice as fast, so we don't get the 25, so they don't get the 25 bonus. That means it just stays like that. Let's see how many they are. In the wilderness with a 1d3. Okay. Then I'm just going to roll a d6 and we divide by 2. They are only 1. Okay, that means we have a 50% chance of evasion. 1 fleeing group size, 1 pursuer, 50%. Let's hope we evade. Yeah, we rolled a 23, 20, and 3, less than 50. We evade. Okay, for each evasion attempt, we have to rest 1 day. First, we're going to finish the movement. We moved here, that's only 1 because we want to cross. And now we can just go, we had a 6, so we can move as far as we want, and we can just turn as much as we want. So we are going to move 1, 2, and we are back on Rydale. But we are not going to roll for a random encounter here because it's a village. There is no random encounter. He got back safely and has 1 location for a potential treasure in his bag. All right. And that is basically the process for wilderness like exploration, as we will use it for the mapper. For the adventuring parties, we will use the exploration mechanics from OSE, Old School Essentials. But for the mapper, we will stick with Outer Survivor because I actually really like them, and it's quite fun in my opinion. Alrighty, that was quite successful for his first outing. He got 1 treasure, and I will determine what treasure, like what kind of treasure that is, how much is it worth, and I will show you how I do that at the beginning of the next session. I thank you very much for watching. Please leave comments if you like this episode, if you like this content, and how the audio quality and the camera perspective is. And if you like this episode, then like the video and subscribe to the channel. And I would say see you next time at Times of Adventure. Bye bye.